hate to stir it up, but Afrojack has been talking shit about you. Anything you want to say? Who? Afrojack? Who? That's what I thought. Thank you.
Don't what's up me, you sucker. Don't what's up me, you sucker. I should black your eye.
Besides being mentor and mentee, Eminem and 50 Cent are tight, like real brothers in the rap world. They've had each other's backs through every storm, from chaotic award shows to full-blown rap beefs. When it comes to throwing shots, both of them are absolute legends of disrespect. No hesitation, no mercy. They've gone after almost everyone, from rivals like Ja Rule to old allies turned enemies like The Game. 50 and M don't just feud, they live for the competition. Every diss, every lyric, it's all part of the thrill. Now, let's dive into some of their most explosive wars. In August 2023, Eminem teamed up with Ez Mil to drop a fiery track called Realist. While it was Ez Mil's big debut, Eminem completely stole the spotlight with a ruthless lyrical strike aimed straight at The Game. He wasn't just flexing his pen game, he was claiming the crown, daring anyone to challenge his legacy. Eminem rapped, "All the envious rappers I torch, if I'm on a joint with them, and that is the only retort is I'm not played in the clubs. Motherfucker, put a cork in it. Only reason they still play your shit in the clubs is cause you still performing."
It's fat.
That shit funny.
He looked like he got a pack of hot dogs on the back of his neck.
With those lines, M fired back at The Game's claim that his songs don't get club play anymore, flipping the narrative and calling him out in style. This all traces back to the long-running tension between The Game and 50 Cent's crew, G-Unit. The beef actually started years ago when Dr. Dre spotted The Game's raw potential and decided to bring him into the fold, linking him up with G-Unit to boost his rise in the industry. What started as a power move turned into one of hip-hop's most infamous rivalries. G-Unit, the powerhouse rap crew led by 50 Cent, was meant to be The Game's launchpad to stardom. The plan was simple: plug The Game into a winning team and give him the platform he needed to explode onto the scene with his debut album. Some people thought it was a smart business move to level up his career, while others whispered that it was just The Game riding off 50's success. But no matter what anyone said, The Game's time with G-Unit instantly put him shoulder to shoulder with two rap giants, 50 Cent and Eminem. When his debut album, The Documentary, dropped, the industry had no choice but to pay attention. The critics praised it, the fans went wild, and the sales spoke for themselves. The Game had officially arrived. Tracks like How We Do and Hate It or Love It became instant anthems. His bars hit hard, his storytelling pulled people in, and suddenly he was being called one of the best new voices in hip-hop. But with that kind of fame, the pressure started building. And behind the scenes, things weren't as smooth as they looked. Tensions between The Game and 50 Cent started to bubble up, and cracks began to show in their brotherhood. It all came to light during the filming of the Hate It or Love It music video. Word on the street was that 50 Cent refused to sit next to The Game in the car for one of the scenes. And that tiny moment sparked a storm of rumors. Nobody really knew what caused the tension, but one thing was clear. This was the start of something big, and not in a good way. What started as small tensions soon spiraled into a full-blown series of conflicts that only got worse with time. Even though the Hate It or Love It video came out and got huge praise, things behind the scenes were on fire. The real breaking point hit during a live radio interview when 50 Cent dropped a bombshell. He publicly announced that The Game was no longer part of G-Unit. That single statement flipped everything upside down. Moments later, The Game showed up at the radio station trying to confront the situation face to face, but it all went south fast. A scuffle broke out, chaos erupted, and before anyone knew it, shots were fired outside the building. It was wild. Luckily, no one was seriously hurt, but the scene sent shockwaves through the entire rap world. In the days that followed, both camps tried to play it cool, saying things were under control and promising to move past it. By March 2005, they even went public with a so-called truce, claiming they wanted to bury the beef and move forward. But the peace didn't last long, not even close. Soon after, G-Unit started throwing shade at The Game, questioning his loyalty and his street credibility. That hit The Game hard, but instead of backing down, he went straight to the booth to clap back. What came next was 300 Bars and Run It, a blistering diss track where The Game unleashed over 15 minutes of raw fire aimed straight at 50 Cent and his crew. From that moment, it was war. Diss after diss, both rappers went head-to-head, dropping lyrical bombs one after another. The entire hip-hop scene couldn't look away. Everyone was choosing sides, debating who was winning the feud. Then by 2006, the game shocked fans again, saying he actually wanted to squash the drama with 50 and offered peace, hoping to fix what once was a powerful bond. Even after the game extended an olive branch, 50 Cent stayed silent. No replies, no acknowledgement, nothing. His refusal to reconcile made the tension between them feel colder than ever. The feud became one of the most intense in rap history, with over 100 diss tracks flying back and forth, keeping the drama alive for years. By 2010, the game decided to take another shot at peace, this time going public on Twitter, asking 50 to finally end the feud and let go of the animosity. But once again, silence. 50 didn't respond, didn't tweet back, didn't even hint at forgiveness. Still, the game tried to stay positive, hoping time would heal the bad blood between them. But instead of fading, the tension reignited. 50 Cent fired up the old rivalry again through his new music, throwing slick jabs that reminded everyone the beef was far from dead. Then in 2012, the game made a bold move. He started a petition for a G-Unit reunion, trying to bring the old crew back together. Fans went wild thinking the Dream Team might return. Unfortunately, G-Unit shut it down fast. They made it crystal clear they weren't looking back. The game was out for good. And to drive the point home, in 2014, not 26 as some claimed, G-Unit reunited at the legendary Summer Jam concert. Without the game anywhere in sight, that moment confirmed what everyone suspected. The bridge had officially burned. Years later, in 2022, the tension flared up once more when 50 Cent called out the game online after seeing him pose for a picture with Lloyd Banks. 50 questioned the game's intentions behind the photo, stirring up old wounds yet again. But surprisingly, this time the game took the high road.
The Mariah thing, yeah, that's true. Those rumors are true, and I'm not gonna deny them.
So did you date him?
No. Can I just clarify that I did not have a physical relationship with him? I did not have an intimate relationship. I've been with less men than I can, than on one hand. So he's not one of those men.
Publicly saying the beef was done and that he had no problem with 50 anymore. Just when it seemed like peace might finally stick, another storm rolled in, this time involving Eminem. The game dropped a diss track titled The Black Slim Shady, where he took direct shots at Eminem, 50 Cent, and even Dr. Dre. It was clear, the game wasn't done shaking up the rap world just yet. The game didn't hold back. In The Black Slim Shady, he took aim not just at Dr. Dre and 50 Cent, but even at Eminem's family, including his daughter. The lyrics were ruthless, cutting deep into Eminem's personal life, career, and legacy, crafted to sting and provoke a reaction. It was a bold move, clearly meant to reignite a war of words with one of hip-hop's most feared lyricists. When the track dropped, it split the rap world in half. Some fans praised the game for his guts and lyrical firepower, saying it took real confidence to go head-to-head with a rap legend like Eminem. Others weren't as impressed. They saw it as a clout move, claiming the game was just stirring up controversy to get attention. The internet lit up instantly. Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube were flooded with debates. Some were defending Eminem's throne, while others hyped up the game for having the courage to step into the ring. The whole hip-hop community was buzzing. Everyone had an opinion, and no one could stay quiet. But the diss also raised questions. Why go after Eminem now? What was the game trying to prove? Many fans and insiders started connecting the dots, pointing to one major moment that might have sparked the tension. The Super Bowl LVI halftime show in February 2022. That historic show featured Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, 50 Cent, and Eminem. But the game was nowhere to be seen. His absence was loud, especially since he's long been tied to Dre and the West Coast legacy. For someone who helped put that sound back on the map, being left out of that lineup hit hard. Rumor has it that being excluded from such a monumental stage left the game feeling overlooked and underappreciated. And that sting may have fueled his decision to call out Eminem in The Black Slim Shady. After being left out of the Super Bowl halftime show, the game didn't hide his frustration. He took to social media and let it all out. He reposted Instagram stories that flat out questioned why he wasn't part of such a massive celebration of LA hip-hop. In his eyes, as one of the true voices of the West Coast, he deserved to share that stage with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. The game made it clear he felt snubbed, like he'd been erased from a moment he helped build. Later, during an episode of the I Am Athlete podcast, he opened up about how it really made him feel. He admitted that being left out genuinely hurt, saying the decision wasn't about talent, it was about image. He believed the organizers saw him as too raw, too unpredictable, and maybe even too real for a family-friendly performance. To the game, that stung because his unfiltered street-level authenticity was what made him stand out in the first place. He felt that his edge, the very thing that made him the game, was now being used against him. Then came March 2022, when he sat down on Drink Champs with NORE and DJ EFN, and things got even hotter.
The real reason I wasn't on the Super Bowl is because I'm not a safe artist. So it's just like, he not safe, so they went with the safe artist.
During the interview, the game stirred major controversy by saying Kanye West had done more for his career in recent years than Dr. Dre ever did. That statement shook the industry and had fans debating for weeks. But he didn't stop there. He went even further, boldly claiming he was better than Eminem. He said he was ready to prove it, challenging M to a one-on-one versus battle to settle it once and for all. It was a jaw-dropping moment. The game wasn't just talking confidence. He was throwing down a full-on challenge to one of rap's most feared lyricists. Even after the backlash from his Drink Champs interview, the game stood his ground. He wasn't about to take back a single word. In an Instagram video posted right after, he doubled down on everything, saying once again that he truly believed he was better than Slim Shady. He admitted that everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but made it clear that in his eyes, he's the superior rapper, hands down. The game even went as far as suggesting a rap battle, or maybe even a collaboration, to finally prove who's really on top. It was bold, fearless, and very on brand for him. Whether this ongoing tension between the game Eminem and 50 Cent will ever end or just keep flaring up, that's something only time can reveal. But that's not the only feud that kept Eminem in headlines. Let's rewind to the late 2000s, when whispers started spreading through the music world about a secret romance between Eminem and Mariah Carey. The rumors exploded fast, and while Mariah publicly denied everything, Eminem added fuel to the fire with his track Bagpipes from Baghdad off his Relapse album. In the song, Eminem didn't just hint. He practically confirmed their past while also throwing shots straight at Nick Cannon, who was married to Mariah at the time. His bars were explicit and direct, leaving no room for confusion. He rapped, "Mariah, whatever happened to us? Why did we have to break up?" Then took it up a notch with, "Nick Cannon better back the fuck up. I'm not playing. I want her back, you punk." But M didn't stop there. He kept firing, saying, "Nick, you had your fun. I've come to kick you in your sack of junk." It was raw, shocking, and instantly went viral. Nick Cannon wasn't having it. He clapped back fast, threatening to take legal action. In a now-deleted Tumblr post, Nick wrote, "I don't know why no one has stood up to." And from there, one of hip-hop's most unexpected celebrity feuds officially ignited. Nick Cannon didn't hold back. He came out swinging. In his fiery Tumblr post, he wrote, "Yet, but I guess it's going to take a corny, whack-rapping boy toy from Nickelodeon to set you straight. And trust, I'm going to be relentless. Even though I got a lot of other obligations and occupations, you are my new full-time job, homie." That message made it clear. Nick wasn't about to let Eminem's words slide. But the feud didn't end there. Mariah Carey jumped in with a move that took the drama to a whole new level. Her hit single, "Obsessed." In the song's music video, Mariah even dressed up as Eminem, complete with his hoodie and scruffy look, trolling him hard. Fans instantly connected the dots, realizing this was her playful yet cutting response to M's claims. The video went viral, and the tension between the two stars hit another peak. For a while, the feud cooled off. Nearly a decade passed without major shots being fired. But in September 2019, it all came roaring back to life when Nick Cannon appeared on T.I.'s Expeditiously podcast. During the interview, Cannon shared a behind-the-scenes story, saying he and Eminem had once been on the same jet flying back from Africa, and that Eminem later dropped a song taking aim at Mariah again. Feeling protective of his wife, Nick said he wrote Eminem a long, respectful letter, acknowledging M's talent, but calling him out for being disrespectful toward Mariah. To most fans, Nick's approach seemed calm, grown, and mature. But to Eminem, it sounded like a challenge. M didn't waste any time. He fired back in the most Eminem way possible, through music. On Fat Joe's track Lord Above, Eminem took another dig at Nick with a verse that was sharp and mocking. He rapped, "I know me and Mariah didn't end on a high note, but that other dude's whipped, he got him neutered. Tried to tell him this chick's a nut job before he got his jewels clipped, almost got my caboose kicked." That verse sent the internet into meltdown. Fans flooded social media debating who crossed the line, and suddenly, a decade-old feud was back in full swing, hotter than ever. Eminem didn't pull any punches, firing back with brutal bars that left no room for confusion. He rapped, "Fool, quit. You're not gonna do shit. I'd let her chop mine off too before I lose to you, Nick." It was classic M, raw, savage, and dripping with sarcasm. Nick Cannon wasted no time responding. He jumped straight on Instagram, posting, "Fat Joe's album is star-studded. He even did some charity work and dug Eminem out his grave. I mean cave." The jab was clever and funny, showing Nick wasn't intimidated at all. He even publicly invited Eminem to come face him on Wild 'N Out, saying he was ready to settle things live on stage in front of the world. But Nick wasn't done, not even close. He hit the studio and dropped his own diss track, The Invitation, and this one was pure venom. He came for everything, even throwing personal shots at Eminem's family. Nick rapped, "Call Kim, somebody get Haley and that other kid you raising that ain't even your baby. My baby mama killed you off a decade ago. You're still crying about it." The lyrics were cold and direct, meant to cut deep and keep the feud blazing. Fans went wild. The hip-hop world split in two. Some praised Nick for standing up for his wife and refusing to back down, calling him brave for going toe-to-toe with one of rap's most feared lyricists. They said he was defending his family's name like a real man should. Others, though, weren't impressed, accusing Nick of keeping a tired feud alive just for attention. They said it was time to let go and stop rehashing old drama that started over a decade ago. Meanwhile, the media couldn't get enough. Every outlet jumped on the story, from gossip blogs to mainstream entertainment news. Headlines screamed with wild quotes, speculation, and exaggerated tapes. Social media feeds were flooded with clips, memes, and heated debates. Everyone wanted to know, would Eminem clap back again, or was this the end of the wildest celebrity feud in hip-hop history? Amid all the chaos and non-stop drama, there were still fans who just wanted peace. Many people were tired of the back and forth and begged for Eminem and Nick Cannon to finally bury the hatchet. They wanted both artists to focus on what they do best, the music. Some fans said the feud had dragged on for too long and hoped for a truce that could bring closure to years of bitterness. But by that point, the feud had taken on a life of its own. What started as lyrical shots had grown into a full-blown saga, spreading across songs, interviews, and every social media post. Both Eminem and Nick Cannon kept throwing subtle and not-so-subtle jabs, using their platforms to keep the rivalry alive. Nick even sampled some of Eminem's older, more controversial tracks in what many saw as a move to stain M's reputation. The energy was still tense, even if neither of them said it outright. Over time, though, things started to quiet down, at least in public. The fiery back and forth that once dominated headlines began to fade. Eminem shifted focus back to his music and legacy, while Nick Cannon poured his energy into his TV shows, comedy, and business ventures. The feud that once set the internet on fire seemed to finally cool off. Still, the story doesn't feel fully over. Fans and insiders can't help but wonder if the calm is real or just temporary silence before another storm. After all, history shows that when these names collide, things can heat up fast. Even now, fans analyze every lyric, interview, and post, searching for hidden shots or coded disses. They study reactions, captions, and songlines, trying to figure out if any tension still lingers beneath the surface. Because with Eminem, 50 Cent, and Nick Cannon, peace always feels just one bar away from another explosion. The speculation around this never-ending feud goes way beyond the artists themselves. Fans can't stop wondering, what's really fueling all of this? Is it pure emotion, old grudges, bruised egos, and unresolved tension? Or is it something deeper and more strategic, a way to stay in the spotlight and keep their names trending in the industry? The line between personal and promotional has gotten so blurry that no one really knows anymore. Only time will reveal whether this feud is about feelings or fame. But to understand how deep it runs, we have to rewind a bit. Back to 2005, when Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey first crossed paths at the Teen Choice Awards. The chemistry was instant, and just 3 years later, in 2008, they tied the knot. When Eminem dropped his first diss about Mariah, Nick and Mariah were still a fresh couple, which might explain why Nick came out swinging. He was defending both his pride and his wife's name. Their marriage, though, didn't last forever. After 8 years together, they divorced in 2016. Still, even after the split, Nick never stopped defending Mariah whenever her name came up in drama. They managed to stay on good terms for the sake of their twins, Moroccan and Monroe, keeping things peaceful despite their high-profile past. But the drama didn't end there. 50 Cent somehow found himself dragged into the mix too. During one of Nick's podcast episodes, he couldn't resist cracking jokes about 50's appearance, claiming the rap mogul had put on weight. Nick joked that 50 looked like he had a pack of hot dogs in the back of his neck. It was brutal and hilarious, but also risky. Everyone knows 50 never lets a joke slide. At first, 50 seemed unfazed, playing it cool like it didn't bother him. But then he fired back with a slick Instagram post that hit in true 50 Cent fashion. He posted a cryptic message about relying on God and how real success doesn't come from luck. A subtle jab that reminded everyone he's always watching, always ready to clap back with that trademark petty wit. 50 Cent didn't stay quiet for long. He clapped back with that signature mix of humor and warning shots. In a post aimed directly at people like Nick Cannon, he dropped a bold caption that read, "If your marketing campaign is say something about 50, you're not gonna make it. Have a nice day." It was classic 50, confident, dismissive, and cold. He made it clear that anyone trying to use his name for clout was wasting their time. But this wasn't the first time 50 had come at Nick. Back in 2020, during his interview on The Breakfast Club, he spoke openly about Nick Cannon's ongoing feud with Eminem. 50 said that M actually thrives in battle mode, that he's most comfortable when someone tries to come for him. He basically warned Nick that picking a fight with Slim Shady was like handing him free ammo. The host also brought up Nick's song, "Used to Look Up to You," which many thought was aimed at Eminem. 50 quickly set the record straight, saying, "Nope, that one was about him." He didn't hold back his opinion either, calling Nick's rap skills weak and labeling him legendary corny from the beginning. The studio cracked up, but 50's tone was serious. He clearly didn't see Nick as competition. One of the hosts even said bluntly, "You suck, bro," leaving no doubt where they stood. Then, in a more recent interview with Forbes' Brian J. Roberts, 50 took another playful jab, this time about Nick Cannon's ever-growing family. While reflecting on how he once regretted buying a huge mansion for himself, 50 joked that maybe Nick Cannon and his 12 kids would have appreciated having that much space. It was another subtle roast, funny, sharp, and perfectly timed. As for the current state of the feud between Eminem and Nick Cannon, things remain unclear. There hasn't been a public clash in a while, but fans can't help wondering if it's really over or just on pause. Could they ever find common ground and move on? Or is this rivalry just waiting for the next spark to reignite it all over again? Only time will tell if any of these long-running rap feuds will ever find true peace. But speaking of legendary beefs, few have ever been as explosive as the one between 50 Cent and Ja Rule. Their rivalry didn't just make headlines, it changed the sound and energy of early 2000s hip-hop. It all kicked off back in 1999 with a wild situation that nobody saw coming. Ja Rule was reportedly robbed at gunpoint while shooting a music video. During the chaos, one of 50 Cent's affiliates allegedly snatched Jay's chain, a move that instantly sparked street-level tension between the two camps. According to 50, when he and Ja later crossed paths at a club, Ja gave him the cold shoulder, like he wanted nothing to do with him. But Ja Rule tells a different story, claiming he never saw 50 that night, though he admitted the robbery did happen. Ja insists the beef had nothing to do with that incident. He says it all started because 50 Cent felt snubbed by Murder Inc., Ja's record label, during the filming of his single, Murder for Life. Whatever the truth was, things got personal fast. That same year, 50 Cent struck back with a diss track called Life's on the Line, aimed directly at Ja Rule and the entire Murder Inc. crew. The song was supposed to be part of his debut studio album, Power of the Dollar, but the project got shelved before it could officially drop. Meanwhile, Ja Rule's career skyrocketed. His debut album, Veni Vedi Veci, blew up, selling millions and turning him into a household name. The success only made the tension worse. By 2000, the feud had fully erupted when both rappers were booked to perform at the same Atlanta nightclub. What was supposed to be just another night of music turned into a heated confrontation. Words were exchanged, tempers flared, and before long, things got physical. It was the first of many chaotic run-ins between 50 Cent and Ja Rule, setting the tone for one of the most infamous rap rivalries in history. The feud between 50 Cent and Ja Rule went from verbal jabs to real-life danger in 2000, and things got serious. That year, 50's G-Unit crew crossed paths with Murder Inc. at the legendary Hit Factory Studios in New York City. Word on the street was that Ja Rule got a tip that 50 was recording there, and instead of ignoring it, he decided to pull up. What was meant to be a face-to-face confrontation quickly spiraled out of control. According to reports, chaos erupted inside the studio. And during the altercation, Murder Inc. rapper Black Child allegedly stabbed 50 Cent. The situation turned violent fast, and that single moment pushed the rivalry past the point of no return. From that day on, 50 and Ja Rule weren't just competitors, they were sworn enemies. Between 1999 and 2002, a series of explosive run-ins, diss tracks, and behind-the-scenes drama turned their feud into one of the most dangerous in hip-hop history. Then came 2002, the year everything changed. 50 Cent dropped his breakout single Wanksta, a slick street anthem rumored to be inspired by Ja Rule himself. The track took off instantly, becoming a massive hit and peaking at number 13 on the Billboard charts. It was 50's big moment, the one that catapulted him straight into the mainstream. Fans couldn't stop talking, and Ja Rule couldn't ignore the fact that the record had him written all over it. The success of Wanksta didn't just make 50 a star, it poured gasoline on an already raging fire. But just as 50 was claiming his throne, Murder Inc.'s co-founder Irv Gotti tried to hit back with a damaging accusation, saying that 50 had filed an order of protection against him and Ja Rule. In the streets, that kind of rumor could wreck your credibility. 50 immediately denied it, saying it was all lies, and the claim barely made a dent in his rising career. Later, the truth came out. There was an order of protection filed, but not by 50 himself. The police had issued it automatically after the stabbing incident, meaning it was out of his hands. Still, that moment showed just how deep and dangerous this feud had become, way beyond diss tracks and studio beef. The years 2002 and 2003 were pure chaos between 50 Cent and Ja Rule, a full-on lyrical war. Both rappers went head-to-head, dropping one diss track after another, each one sharper than the last. 50 came hard with bangers like I Smell P, Back Down, and his version of Hail Mary. That last track hit deep. It specifically mocked Ja Rule's rumored obsession with Tupac, drawing a bold and controversial connection between the two. Ja Rule didn't stay silent, though. He clapped back with heavy tracks like Loose Change and Guess Who Shot Ya. The shots were personal, the lyrics were brutal, and every new release kept fans glued to their speakers. Hip-hop heads were living for the drama, waiting to see who would land the next knockout verse. But the feud didn't fade away after the early 2000s. It kept finding new life over the years. Between 2007 and 2019, both rappers continued taking jabs at each other in interviews, songs, and online posts. In 2007, Ja Rule went on Hot 97 with Angie Martinez and accused 50 of stealing his style. He claimed that after 50 signed with Shady Records, his sound started sounding suspiciously like Jay's earlier music. The accusation suggested that 50 lacked originality, and that stung, considering how dominant 50's sound had become in hip-hop. Then came a surprising twist in 2013, and Ja Rule, in an interview, actually admitted that 50 Cent had won their long-running beef. It was a rare moment of honesty that caught fans off guard. But the shock didn't stop there. Later that same year, the unthinkable happened. Ja Rule and 50 Cent ended up on the same flight, sitting in the same row. Ja Rule took to Twitter to share the bizarre coincidence, and the internet went wild. Fans thought maybe, just maybe, this was the start of peace between the two rap icons. For a brief moment, it looked like the hatchet had finally been buried, but that calm didn't last long. Because when it comes to 50 and Ja, peace never seems to stick for long. Just when fans thought things might finally calm down, 50 Cent made sure to keep the fire alive. Later in 2013, during his set at Hot 97 Summer Jam, 50 took center stage and decided to remind everyone exactly where he stood with Ja Rule and Murder Inc. He performed his infamous diss track, I Smell Pui live, mocking Ja and his crew in front of a massive crowd. The crowd went wild, and just like that, the feud was reignited once again. But things got even messier the next year. In 2014, Ja Rule dropped his memoir, Unruly: The Highs and Lows of Becoming a Man. And in it, he made a bombshell claim. He accused 50 Cent of tipping off the police with information that helped launch a federal investigation into Murder, Inc. The accusation was huge. It painted 50 as someone who broke the street code. But 50 quickly denied it all, calling the story complete nonsense and dismissing Ja's claims as nothing but desperate talk. Then in 2015, as new rap beefs started grabbing attention, like the infamous battle between Drake and Meek Mill, both 50 Cent and Ja Rule chimed in on Twitter. In a rare twist, the two actually agreed on something. They both said the Drake versus Meek beef didn't even come close to the chaos of their legendary war. They basically reminded everyone that their feud was the gold standard of rap rivalries. By 2017, Ja Rule found himself in hot water again, this time for the disastrous Fyre Festival. The event, which was hyped as a luxury music experience, turned into one of the biggest festival scams in history. Fans were stranded, hungry, and furious, and 50 Cent saw the perfect chance to clown his longtime rival. He flooded social media with jokes, memes, and posts mocking Ja's downfall, turning the fiasco into another punchline in their never-ending battle. Then in 2018, the feud exploded again. Ja Rule fired the first shot on Twitter, calling out 50 Cent directly. Of course, 50 didn't hesitate to respond. He came back with that same ruthless energy, and the two traded barbs online for days. What started as a few tweets turned into another round of viral chaos. Proof that after all these years, neither one of them was ready to back down. By 2018, the 50 Cent and Ja Rule feud had gone beyond music. It had become a non-stop game of trolling. Both rappers threw savage memes and personal shots at each other online. But 50 took things to a whole new level that year. In one of the pettiest yet most hilarious moves in rap history, he claimed to have bought 200 front-row tickets to one of Ja Rule's Las Vegas concerts, just so the seats would be completely empty. Then, to make it even wilder, 50 photoshopped an image of himself sitting alone in the vacant seats, smirking like a man who just won the internet. Fans couldn't believe it. It was savage, strategic, and classic 50 Cent trolling at its best. By 2019, Ja Rule clapped back again, this time taking aim at 50's friendship with Tekashi 6ix9ine, who was facing serious legal trouble and accused of snitching while behind bars. Ja jumped on Twitter and compared Tekashi to 50 himself, calling them both rats. The diss cut deep, considering how much 50 prides himself on his street reputation. But 50 wasn't the only heavyweight in this saga. Eminem also got dragged into the mix. Unlike his usual feuds, where he directly disses opponents in his tracks, this one started indirectly through his loyalty to 50 Cent. When Ja Rule went after 50, he decided to throw shots at Eminem too, crossing the line in a big way with his track Loose Change. In that song, Ja Rule didn't hold back. He went personal, targeting Eminem's family and rapping, "Em, you claim your mother's a crackhead, and Kim is a known slut. So what's Haley gonna be when she grows up?" Those lyrics instantly lit a fire. Eminem, furious at the disrespect toward his daughter, wasted no time firing back. He dropped Haley's Revenge and later joined forces with 50 Cent and Busta Rhymes for a fiery remix of Tupac's Hail Mary. The trio went all in, tearing Ja apart bar for bar. That exchange kicked off yet another wave of diss tracks. And once again, the feud that started on the streets spilled over into hip-hop history, louder and messier than ever. Ja Rule tried to keep the fight going, firing back with Clap Back while Eminem countered with Go to Sleep, a track filled with raw fury. But by 2004, even Eminem had had enough. Fed up with the endless back and forth, he finally dropped a track declaring that his label, Shady Records, had already won the war and that he was done wasting energy on it. M called the feud pointless, unprofitable, and straight up childish. At that point, he was ready to move on to bigger things. By the mid-2000s, though, Ja Rule's career had taken a hit. Many fans and critics believed he was only staying in the spotlight by mentioning 50 Cent and Eminem, depending on the feud to stay relevant. In an interview, Ja hinted at wanting peace, suggesting it was time to let it all go. But later, he flipped the script again, saying that he and 50 were sworn enemies for life. Their beef had officially earned its place as one of the longest-running rivalries in hip-hop history. But Ja Rule wasn't the only artist to clash with Eminem over the years. Another major name eventually found himself in M's crosshairs, Joe Budden, and this one hit closer to home. Their tension started brewing back in 2011, when Joe Budden's supergroup Slaughterhouse, made up of Joe, Royce da 5'9", Joel Ortiz, and Crooked Wee, signed to Eminem's Shady Records. Fans were hyped, believing this partnership would finally give the lyrical powerhouse the spotlight it deserved. But behind the scenes, creative differences started boiling. As executive producer, Eminem had a vision for Slaughterhouse's debut album, Welcome to Our House, one that leaned toward a more commercial, polished sound. He wanted catchy hooks and broader appeal, but that clashed hard with the gritty, underground energy fans loved from the group's earlier work. For Joe Budden, who'd built his career on raw lyricism, emotional honesty, and an independent grind, that shift felt like betrayal. To him, it wasn't just about music, it was about artistic integrity. What started as excitement soon turned into frustration, and those cracks in their creative relationship would only grow deeper over time. Joe Budden had a vision, and it didn't involve following anyone else's playbook, not even Eminem's. He truly believed Slaughterhouse could dominate the rap game as an independent powerhouse, rocking festivals and selling out shows without needing to conform to M's commercial formula. But that difference in vision soon turned into serious tension between the two. On his podcast, Joe didn't sugarcoat a thing. He openly vented his frustrations, saying the group could have thrived, maybe even surpassed Eminem's success, if they'd stayed independent and stuck to their raw underground roots. In Joe's eyes, they didn't need a superstar cosign, they just needed freedom to do things their way. But it wasn't just creative control that bothered him. Joe took direct shots at the actual music production too, blasting the beats Eminem provided for Welcome to Our House. He called them horrible and said they didn't suit Slaughterhouse's hard-edged, lyrical style. According to Joe, both Eminem and his longtime manager Paul Rosenberg mishandled the group, trying to mold them into something radio-friendly instead of letting them shine as lyrical assassins. He believed that forced direction eventually led to the group's downfall. All that built-up frustration reached a boiling point, and when it finally erupted, it was explosive. The real drama kicked off in 2018 when Eminem dropped Kamikaze, an album where he took aim at almost everyone, from critics to rappers, and yes, even his former label mate Joe Budden. M's bars were sharp and personal, clearly calling Joe out for his disloyalty and harsh words. That's when the feud went nuclear. Joe Budden clapped back, not in a song, but on his podcast, where he tore into Eminem like never before. His rant wasn't just about music, it was personal. He questioned Eminem's relevance, his business decisions, and even his character, saying M's influence had done more harm than good for Slaughterhouse. Joe's words hit deep because they came from a place of real resentment and disappointment. He accused Eminem of holding the group back, saying that under his label, they lost their edge and identity. Fans were stunned. This wasn't just another rap beef. This was family turning against family. And just when it seemed things couldn't get messier, it did. The feud was far from over. KXNG Crooked, one of the core members of Slaughterhouse, gave fans a deeper look into the real tension between Joe Budden and Eminem. During an Instagram live session, Crooked revealed that Joe had been upset with Eminem for a long time, mainly because of how M handled or didn't handle the Slaughterhouse project. Joe felt like the group had massive potential, but Eminem didn't do enough to push them into the spotlight. That revelation added a whole new layer of complexity to their feud. Then came another spark: Joe Budden's public criticism of Eminem's 2017 album, Revival. Joe didn't hold back, calling the album weak and saying it didn't live up to the legend's reputation. Fans immediately noticed that on Eminem's track, Chloroseptic Remix, he dropped lines aimed at critics and reaction videos. And everyone assumed those bars were about Joe. Suddenly, what had been quiet tension exploded into open hostility. Things escalated even more when Bizarre from D12 stepped in to defend Eminem. He called out Joe for disrespecting the man who had given him a major platform. Joe fired back hard, clapping back online and even hinting at getting physical if Bizarre kept talking. The drama was all over social media, and it didn't take long for 50 Cent to jump into the mix. In true 50 fashion, he posted a photo of Joe Budden on Instagram with a slick caption suggesting Joe had a whooping coming. Fans went wild, laughing and tagging everyone involved as the situation spun out of control. With 50 now involved, the feud between Eminem and Joe turned from personal frustration into a full-blown hip-hop war. Later that same year, Eminem sat down for an explosive interview with Sway, and fans were glued to every second. They covered everything from his controversial Revival album to the surprise release of Kamikaze. But the real heat came near the end, when Sway asked about M's beefs with Machine Gun Kelly and Joe Budden. Eminem addressed it directly, saying, "Me and Joe Budden aren't friends like that. We didn't go to the same high school or anything, you know what I'm saying? But when I'm out here doing interviews, flying everywhere, using my platform to pump up Slaughterhouse every chance I get, and you're using your platform to trash me, that's different. That moment showed how personal things had gotten. It wasn't just about music anymore. It was about respect, loyalty, and the fallout of two artists who once believed in each other. That's kind of the attitude I took to this whole album, Eminem said about Kamikaze. It's like, okay, what if I just gave everyone my opinion about them? He wasn't holding back this time, and fans could feel the fire in every bar. Eminem also opened up about the downfall of Slaughterhouse and their long-awaited unreleased project Glass House. He revealed that the group had recorded enough songs for a full album, but the problem was they couldn't agree on which track should make the final cut. For the most part, he said, it wasn't a complete picture because everybody wasn't on the same page about their favorite songs. So I thought they were going to go back home, regroup, and make a few more tracks. But I didn't hear anything after that. By then, I was already deep into revival. M explained how Slaughterhouse's earlier album, Welcome to Our House 2012, also received heavy criticism from fans who thought it sounded too polished. He said that's exactly why he hesitated to be so hands-on with Glass House. During recording, we left the ball in their court. I didn't want to touch it besides giving my opinion on songs, he shared. We gave them another album. And next thing I know, I hear Joe talking about who got that money? Who got what money? Man, I don't even know if I made a dime off Slaughterhouse. And honestly, I don't care. I believed in them. In the rap world, sometimes you need a mentor, sometimes you need a best friend, and sometimes you need that killer rhyme to silence the haters. Eminem and 50 Cent, they've got all three. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. Show some love and let us know which Eminem feud or collab you want to see us cover next.